Hi, and welcome to the Property Mastermind first podcast, finally. So Property Mastermind with Hilary Saxton, and finally kicked off. This has been going to happen for so long, and just like you, it became one of those sort of, I'm sure when I say just like you know, one of those things you really want to do and you don't. Crikey, it's been bugging me for well over a year now. I've had all the equipment, just haven't got around to doing it, or got too scared or didn't know where to start. Maybe like you are with property development, which is what this show is going to be about. So this is the intro. I'm going to tell you what the show is going to have, and maybe some reasons why you might like to listen to it, who it's for, where and when, and just all the details. So stay tuned and let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, where are you on your property journey? You know, are you where you want to be? Or do you just think to yourself, oh, I just wish I was doing that, or I really want to be doing that, and you're not? And then the next question is, you know, are you where you want to be financially? Because often those two go together. We're not where we want to be financially, and we would like to be further on in our property journey. So the reason I've decided to put this podcast together is I want to help motivate people who have just lost momentum, who, you know, maybe want to get started, don't know where to start, or, you know, have started. But I want you to feel like after listening to, you know, each podcast, you actually, right, that's it. And you take some action steps. I work as a coach, as a property coach. So I kind of work with people's sticking points every single day. That's kind of, not even kind of, that is what I do. And what I find is everyone has a different one, but they are all very similar. So by you listening to this podcast, I really hope to give you really useful tools and tactics and strategies, you know, 3 great words there: tools, tactics, strategies, answers, and just leave you feeling really empowered so that you know you can take action, you're going to feel confident, and just get that life of financial freedom, which is pretty much what we all want. So who am I? Well, as I said, Hilary Saxton. Where did I start off? I began in property at 18 and stayed in the, I've done around 20 renovations, subdivisions. I'm currently developing in 4 states of Australia. So my life is a bit around property. And Bob and I work in Property Mastermind, coaching alongside Bob. And so our whole world is property. And if you don't know Bob Anderson, you must have been under a rock. He's a legend. So 38 years in the property development space and educating for, I think 15, it might be 15 years now. So he's well regarded in this industry. He's very casual. He's an awesome teacher because he's just really low key. He's not too, there's no hype. It's just Bob, Australian bloke with a wealth of knowledge teaching. We're going to hear from others in the industry. And I just really want you to know that I want to, you know, make you feel like you're going places on your property journey. So, you know, as I said, my name's Hilary Saxton, and let's jump into episode 1. So who's this podcast for? Well, I sort of look at I sort of think there's 4 stages when it comes to property development. Number 1 is you've done nothing and you want to do something and you don't know where to start. It's perfect for you. And we've all been there. Everyone listening to this is either there where you are now or they've been there. They know they want to do something because they see people becoming successful. They see people, you know, making a lot of money, and they want that, but they just don't. They don't know how, you know, taking that first step. Where do I even start? Don't even begin with the acronyms. Crikey. I think property development has more acronyms than any other industry in the world. Seriously, it is crazy. And I'm often talking to a client and they might say an acronym and I'm like, how do I not know that one? I had one yesterday and I had to quietly Google it and just go, oh, okay, of course. There are so many acronyms. So getting started in property is just frightening on its own when it comes to the acronyms. That could be you. So use this information, use this inspiration, use this motivation to know that, yes, I can do this. The second person it's for is for the renovator. So a lot of us began after we've been thinking for a long time. We went to renovating. And the thing with renovations is that they're really easy to get started. Renovating is a really good way to cut your teeth. You start, you know, you'll learn a little bit about property and you're buying and selling, and there's conversations and there's real estate agents, and it's a little bit less risky, you know, it's a lot less risky really. It kind of gives us a level of confidence. So a lot of people will do renovating, you know, just to get started, and then they realize that they can draw that money out and they want to go where there's more money to be made, and that will be naturally is developing. But also with renovating, sometimes people buy a property that has a house on it and they, you know, subdivide it or split it, and they renovate the one property and then sell off the other piece of land, or they might develop the other piece of land. So that's where, renovating can kind of come in handy, or if you've done some, or that's how they might even end up accidentally developing. And the other place you might be is like you've started already. Maybe you've done a splitter. Maybe you've done a duplex, 4-pack, 3-pack, whatever. Maybe you've done something and you did one and you didn't have the best experience. Maybe a few things went wrong for you, or you didn't make the profit you thought, or goodness me, but worst case, maybe you didn't make any money. Maybe there was a disaster. Who knows? Your builder went broke, whatever. But sometimes that can really leave us feeling like totally put off. We want to do more, but we just become frightened, like too frightened to do it again. And I've worked with plenty of people like that, men and women. It's funny because I work a lot in the space of, providing inspiration, not inspiration, like motivating and helping people through their blockages, helping with mindset, getting people to take the action. People believe a lot of the time that it's just a female thing, but it's so not. I would be at least 50-50 on, it's men and women who become stuck, who lose confidence, who become nervous, to take action when it comes to property. It's not just females that get stuck. And I think in the past that has been something that's believed, but trust me, it is not. It is definitely both men and women who lose their confidence and do not want to move forward. I really love it when someone's honest enough to say that to me as well. It's like, Hilary, I've just really lost confidence and I'm afraid. And then once somebody said that, it just gives me such an opportunity to support them and give them the tools that they need to kind of move past that. Not even to totally move past that. So, that could be you. You could have had a bad experience, or you didn't make the money you thought, or, some of your subbies or your builder or whatever, something went wrong and you just need that help. And the other person this is for is, sometimes you have done that next thing. Maybe you've done even maybe 10 or subdivisions or something quite big, and you just want to take the next step. I mean, you definitely want to stay around here, because Bob will be on some of the other podcasts, and he is, like I said, a wealth of knowledge. So why property developing? Well, why not property developing? The pinnacle of all property strategies. It's where the big bucks are. That's what I always say. What I want people to know about this podcast is that property developing is for everybody, and you'd be so surprised. We've got the most lovely people in our community, and there's such an array of people, and anybody can do it. So it's not a man's game. Gone are the days of the man down the Gold Coast with the open shirt and the medallion hanging out and the hairy chest. That's my dog sitting on the chair, by the way. So it's not just me on this podcast. The dog's over there just doing a couple of little coughs. There's another podcaster who has this dog in the room I always listen to. It's quite funny. But anyway, she follows me everywhere. So she'll always be in the room when I'm on. So yes, back to the, why you should do property developing. It's not a man's game anymore. It used to be, but it's not anymore. And I think that's something that is a bit of a misconception, is the support that you get. So if you're finding partner support quite difficult, whether that's your husband or your wife isn't supporting you in property, get them onto this podcast, because they can sort of learn and feel and get the idea that it is for everybody. And it's such a great way to move forward in life. Even the next podcaster, the first interview I've got coming up was somebody who on their first development, they made $150,000, which to some people might think, oh, that's nothing in a development. And really in a development, it's not a huge amount. But wow, when was the last time you saved $150,000 in a year? It's life-changing to some people. So when you have the support of your partner, husband or wife, it makes the journey so much easier. So, share the podcast with them. Why property? Well, it's a great retirement plan. Like we say, it's the pinnacle of all property strategies. It's just a great way to know that, you've got an income, or you've built up enough wealth for when I call it the rocking chair test. It's kind of a different situation, but to be able to sit on the rocking chair of the beautiful home that you own. Yeah, that works. So to just have enough money, when you do eventually stop working, whatever time of life that is, property is a great vehicle to give you that opportunity. And another reason for, property development is the lifestyle it creates for people. It's created a fantastic lifestyle for me. Just a quick share on my background, and it'll probably come up in a few more podcasts, but I was at one point a 100-kilo single mum on a benefit, and it was property that turned me around. There's a lot more to that story, and I'll probably allude to some of that in some of the upcoming podcasts, but it's something you're also able to do yourself. Like, you don't need anybody to help you. And as I was by myself, I was able to do that. But it just creates a fantastic lifestyle for people, because we think of, when you say lifestyle, what do you picture? You might picture yourself on a boat. You might picture yourself sleeping in the mornings. You're at the gym. You're doing yoga, whatever. You could be in the most beautiful home. You could be traveling. You could be spending more time with loved ones, with family, whatever that is for you. It's just whatever that is for you, however you picture the word, whatever picture lifestyle brings to you. But the thing with lifestyle, it's really about money. It's money that creates that lifestyle. And don't get me wrong, I'm not delusional. Money doesn't make people happy, but having money does fix a lot of problems. And I read something somewhere recently. It was something along the lines of, because we all have a different money mindset, and that was instilled in us, from the way we were brought up. So when we think of money, some people don't have a great connection or a great relationship with it. But it does change. Like if you don't like your home right now, if you had money, you can just change your home. You might have terrible neighbors where you can move to another neighborhood. So there's so many things that money can do. Health might be an issue to you. You certainly can afford better food and a better quality of food when you earn more money. Even just when it comes to exercise, it's so important to me. Early days, going back 150 years ago, I was a personal trainer and I'm a nutritionist. But even now when I go to the gym, I still hire a personal trainer because I know I'm going to have a better workout. She pushes me harder than I'll push myself. So the lifestyle that property can give you, or the money that it can afford you to do things that just make life easier, no struggle. You can pay your bills, you can go on those holidays. You can spend more time with family because you're not going to spend so much time working. But on the other hand as well, lifestyle doesn't necessarily mean that you want to give up your 9-to-5 job. It might mean you still want to carry on working, but have a lot more just, cash lying about to do the things that you like to do. So the next thing I want to tell you about is when. When is this podcast going to be? Well, it's going to be Wednesdays. We'll be released every Wednesday each week. And the format will be between 20 and 40 minutes each week. And it'll be one with myself. There'll be Q&A with Bob. So please feel free to email your questions to hilary@propertymastermind.com.au. That will be below. So flick through any questions you might have for the Q&A. There'll be education segments from myself, education segments with Bob and myself. We'll definitely cover creative strategies. The creative strategies are the way you can get into property if you don't have enough money yourself and, using other people's money or coming together in deals. That's something that's really common. And really people are interested in. So I will definitely be covering a lot of creative strategies. Also, just some tips that how you can get started, how you can move on, pretty much straight away on your property journey. I'll also interview past students. Like I said before, the first person will be Nolan and his development where he made $150,000, but other students as well. And not just students of Property Mastermind, just other people who are new to property or who stepped up and did things. And I want you to feel really inspired and think, yes, if they can do it, I can do it. And that's really my goal, is to get people to know that they can just take a few steps and start doing something. And then I will be talking to experts in the industry, in the property development space, or just anything to do with the development. Get an expert in to come and talk to you, or I'll be interviewing just people I know that you will find really interesting to hear from. So that's kind of the overview of the podcast and, what I plan to do with it. The other thing I'd like to say is each week I'll be giving away a free coaching session. So if you would like to do that, you can send it in via email, hilary@propertymastermind.com.au. Or if you give us a review, you'll definitely go onto the list of people who receive a free coaching session from myself. Anyway, that's about the first summary of everything that we plan to do. Pretty excited about getting started. Was pretty slack on getting started. A little bit nerve-wracking the first few times. Cameras, lights, getting organized. And just so you know, I did record this one about 5 times, so it takes a bit of time to get right. But I really hope that you like and follow. Give me some great comments, great reviews. You'll find us in all the right podcasting places, and of course on YouTube. You might be watching this on YouTube now. If you've got anything that's not so positive that you'd like to say, please feel free to email that to me if you've got any feedback that you think might help. Otherwise, I'll look forward to catching up with you on episode 2. All right, catch you next time.